Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the free legal advice show on British Muslim TV. I'm your host, Ilyas Bulbulia, and I'll be with you for the next hour. As our regular viewers are aware, the free legal advice show provides you, our viewers, the opportunity to call in and ask me any questions that you have on any aspect of English law. On this show, I'm able to cover a vast, diverse range of matters. Matters ranging from immigration law matters, family law matters, criminal law matters. So whatever your legal questions are, please do feel free to get in touch live here at the studios. Two ways to get in touch. First of all, you can ring on the landline number which appears at the bottom of the screen. Alternatively, a very popular way of getting in touch is to send us a message on the mobile number which also appears at the bottom of the screen. So landline number is for live calls here to me directly, and messages can be sent on the mobile number. The messages will be fed through to me here live on air, and I'll be able to address your queries live on air. A couple of minor points before we get going. Obviously, on a live show, sometimes it's difficult to take very detailed information from callers who call in. Sometimes it also transpires that I need to look at your documents before I can advise you properly. Now, if it's the case that your matter is complex, or I need to actually look at your documents before I can advise you, then I'll ask you to leave your number with the control room, and then I can have that more thorough discussion with you off air, or I can look at your documents and advise you properly off air as well. And this is a service that we provide completely free of charge as part of the free legal advice show. So two ways to get in touch: a landline number for direct calls here to speak to me live, and the mobile number to send us messages. Now, it's a very popular way of getting in touch. Even before we come on live, we normally have a number of questions that have been coming in throughout the day for us to answer. So by all means, please continue to send in your messages on the mobile number. Now, when I answer your question, if you're not clear about the answer that I've provided, or there's some follow-up questions that you've got in response to the answer that I've provided, then please do feel free to send your follow-up questions in, and I can address those as well. So that's not a problem at all. We get that quite regularly. We get questions in, we answer the questions, and that prompts our viewer who sent the message in to send us follow-up questions. Again, it's not a problem. We've got a caller who's been waiting. Let's go to our first call. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam.
Sir, I just received a Suprasteria email today for logging in.
Okay.
I think it would be for biometric, because I have applied with my missus and my two of the children on Zambrano route.
I understand. Yep.
So I received a Suprasteria email asking me to log in. When I go to log in, they ask me to provide UAN number, which I haven't received any.
Okay.
And the problem is when I received the acknowledgement letter, it just gives me the reference number, which I tried, but it didn't go through.
Okay.
So I don't really know what to do.
You know, when you submitted the Zambrano application, did you receive a letter with a UAN number? The UAN number is normally a 16-digit number. Did you receive that?
No, I haven't received any. After, I think, nearly 3-4 months, they send me confirmation letter, or even within a month, which is obviously giving me my application number. That's all they did.
So, you know, the application number that you're referring to, is it a 16-digit number?
No, I think it's 10 or 11 or 9, something like that.
The UAN number is normally a 16-digit number. It normally starts something along the lines of 3434 dash, then 4 digits, dash 4 digits. So you haven't got that kind of number?
No, they didn't send me any.
Okay, all right. Two things that you can do. I've not come across this particular problem. Two things you can do is, you know, the website for applying for EU settlement scheme visas. On there, there is an online form that you can complete.
Okay.
So you could email them or complete the online form and ask them
Okay.
Give your reference number and tell them that when I'm trying to log in on the Sopra Steria website, I don't have that UAN number. So what do I do? So if you go onto the EU Settlement Scheme website, and if you could complete the online form, they do normally respond within about 5 working days.
All right.
So that's option 1. Option 2 might take you a long time to sort out, which is to actually phone the Sopra Steria helpline.
They take time.
They take a long time to pick the phone up. That's the problem. And in the end, they might just say to you, well, you know what? You need to speak to the Home Office and get your UAN number anyway. So they may say that. So it may not be that helpful. I think the best thing to do initially is to complete the online form and wait for a response. Now, if you find that it's taken a long time, there's a helpline number for the EU Settlement Scheme Resolution Centre on the website as well. So there's a helpline number there as well. If you go on the website, you can call them. Again, the problem is you may end up waiting about an hour before you get through to anybody.
All right, okay.
But they're your best 2 options. And I've not come across this. I know a lot of people who applied under Zambrano have started getting letters now. So I think your best option is going to be to try that. If you just bear with me a second, I'm just going to see whether there's another quicker solution I can find for you or not. It may not be the case. As I said, a lot of people have started receiving these emails now. Just want to look at where the number might be. Just bear with me 1 second. Just bring in one of their letters up to see whether, yes, I think you're quite right. The problem is the letters that they're sending out has a case reference number.
Yeah.
I'm just checking something on their website. Is an our reference number and there's a case reference number. You are quite right. There is no UAN number.
No.
You're quite right. I mean, I initially thought there would be, because on most applications there is a number, but you're quite right. So I think that is the only way forward. I'm looking at the emails that they send. Did you ever receive an email from them at all?
From the Home Office.
From the Home Office.
I just received today email from Supra.
Okay, so did the... Now, I'm just looking at one of the emails that the Resolution Centre sends out, and it looks like what they've done is, where it says UAN number, what they seem to have done is use the case reference number. I'm looking at one of their emails that they've sent out on a Zambrano case. What they seem to have done is use the case reference number for UAN, but added noughts in front of it to make it a 16-digit number. I'm not sure that's going to work on the Sopra Steria website.
No.
So I'm just looking at one of their emails. That's the way they've done it, where it says UAN. They've given that 10, 11-digit reference number, and before that, they've just put 000 and said, this is the UAN number. I'm not sure. I mean, you could try that. I don't know whether that works or not. But if it doesn't work, you're going to have to get in touch with the Home Office. So
you mean I add the reference number, then dot, and then again typing the same number?
What they seem to have done on one of the emails that I've just seen is, because the UAN number is a 16-digit number, what they seem to have done is, for the first 3, 4, they've added 0000 and then your reference number for the remaining digits to make up the 16 digits.
Yeah, it could be tried.
You could try that. I mean, I'm completely guessing, because as you were talking to me on the phone, I just remembered I had a similar email come in this morning on a Zambrano matter. And I was just looking at the email and I was looking at the letter. You're quite right. On the letter, there's just the case reference number. But on the email, I've noticed that where it says UAN, they've added some noughts on and then the case reference number to make it a 16-digit number. It may not work. I may be completely off the mark. Try that. If it doesn't work, you're going to have to either complete the online form or contact the EU Resolution Centre I think a lot of people have started receiving this. So maybe next week I'll know what the answer is. But at the moment, I'm just guessing how we get around this practical problem. But
we try it this way. Let me try it. Yeah, because I am online.
Yeah,
if I
okay.
try it this way, it might
Why not?
work.
Why not? Experiment live on air.
Thank you very much. It's very kind of
No problem. Eh? But in the next couple of weeks, I think we will all work it out. But look, if it doesn't work, just contact the EU Resolution Centre. Okay.
Okay, I will.
Okay, thank you very much for your call. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So this is a Zambrano case that a lot of people actually submitted just before June 2021. And a lot of people have now started getting emails saying that they should enroll their biometrics for the cases to be progressed. The only problem with Zambrano cases was Zambrano cases were done on a paper form. They weren't done online. So online forms always generated a UAN number, which is then needed to do your biometrics. The problem with the Zambrano cases was that they were done on a paper form, and it looks like the Home Office hasn't allocated a UAN number to applicants. So a lot of people have started getting these letters, these emails telling them, look, we've had your case for a while now, and it's now moving on to the next stage, which is you need to enroll your biometrics, and then the case will be progressed. So there's a slight problem, not a legal problem, a technical problem in terms of how you enroll your biometrics on the Home Office's agents website, the Sopros area website. But hopefully that should resolve it. Two ways I've suggested that you resolve it. One is you can either phone the EU Resolution Centre, there might be a long wait, or alternatively, you can complete the online form. They do respond. It's not the quickest of responses. Generally, they say they'll turn it around within about 5 working days. 5 to 10 days seems to be the normal turnaround time. Hope that answers that question. We're taking a short break. Inshallah, we should be back in the next couple of minutes. See you then. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the free legal advice show on British Muslim TV. I'm your host, Ilyas Bulbulia. To speak to me live on air, please ring on the landline number which appears at the bottom of the screen. Alternatively, to send us a text message, you can do so on the mobile number which is also there at the bottom of the screen. So landline number for live calls and the mobile number for messages which will be fed through to me live here in the studio, and I'll be able to address your questions live on air. We've had a number of questions coming in. Let's look at one of our questions which have come in on our mobile number today. Now, question that's come in, it's an immigration law question. Looks like a question relating to delay. So our viewer asks, Assalamu alaikum. Can I ask you, I made an entry clearance application for my wife to come to the UK. That is about 5 months from now, but I still haven't heard anything from the Home Office. How long does it usually take for the Home Office to make a decision? So application for entry clearance, it's an application from abroad made to come to the United Kingdom, and it's for the wife to come to the United Kingdom from abroad. 5 months ago, the application was made, and there still isn't a decision. Now, I think the best way to answer this is this. How long does it normally take? It takes about 3-4 months, but there can be delays. I'll look at the delay point in greater detail after I've taken my next call. Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, brother.
Brother, how are you? You okay?
Brother, I got a question. I'm good, thank you, brother. Jazakallah. So my question is, brother, how long can you stay outside the UK with the refugee travel documents, or like all together in your 5 years total? Okay.
So the first thing that you really need to look at is, in a year, how much time can you spend abroad, and then look at the totality of the time. Now, my general view is this: in a year, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months at tops would be okay. I think the problem is if you start spending more time outside the UK, then it may affect your indefinite application 5 years down the line. So my personal view is 3-4 months. How long are you thinking of being away from the UK?
Yeah, like I just want to know altogether, like how much is my limit. I especially want to spend more time there as more as I can, but I just want to know how much time is my limit. Like, so
Okay.
I don't want to cross the limit. So
Okay.
I don't want anything that come against me because of the or staying outside.
Okay.
But I just want the exact time so that I can make sure that there is no problem for me.
Okay, no problem. And one of the things is you can't go back to your country.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can go to another country. No? All right. So what I'll do is, I know you're looking at exacts. So what I will do is, when we go for our next break, I'll just have a quick look at the guidance and give you an exact figure. I don't want to guess because you want quite specifics. So what I will do is, when we go for our next break, let me just get the exact figure from the guidance. And after we come back from our break, that's the first question that I'll answer. So you might have to just carry on waiting a bit. And I can...
no worries. I will probably in 20-30 minutes.
Yeah, in the next 10-15 minutes, we should be taking a break. So I'll just check and make sure I'm giving you the correct advice. I mean, generally speaking, my view is you can be out of the country 3-4 months. For most applications, 3-4 months per year, and there's no problem. One of the things you've got to bear in mind is, after you get your indefinite leave, if you then want to apply for nationality has its own limits, very specific limits as well.
Okay.
So on the nationality, I can tell you, because I deal with nationalities day in, day out, in the last 5 years, you can't be absent for more than 470 or 480 days in the last 5 years for nationality. And also in the last year out of the 5, you can't be absent for more than 100 days. So I will come back to you after the break on somebody with refugee status applying for indefinite, but I can tell you that a year after you get indefinite leave, when you're applying for nationality, there's a specific limit in terms of in the last 5 years. It's either 470 or 480, and then in the last year of those 5 years, the limit is 100. So you got to bear that in mind as well, because you might want to go for nationality later on. But what I will do, brother, is have a quick look at the guidance when we go for our break and give you a specific time frame when you're applying for indefinite leave to remain. But thank you very much for your call. Now, just before I took the call, we were looking at a question of delay. And in particular, we were looking at somebody who's made an entry clearance application from outside the United Kingdom, sponsoring their wife to come to the United Kingdom. And they have been waiting for some 5 months, and they still haven't had a decision. The question is, how long does it take for these kind of spouse applications to be decided? Now, as I was saying, the general processing time for spouse applications from abroad appears to be around 3 to 4 months. And you count the 3 to 4 months from the date you do your fingerprints. But when you applicant hands the passport in, they have their fingerprints taken, they have their photographs taken. So from the biometric enrollment date, as a rule of thumb, it seems to be the case that applications are taking approximately 3 to 4 months to be decided. Now, some cases do take longer, so it could well take 5 to 6 months. The problem is there isn't much you can do to try and quicken the process. We've got a caller who's been waiting. Let's go to our next call. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Bhai, thank you for
calling. Hi, Ilyas, you all right?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, good. How are you? You okay?
I wanted to ask a question about citizenship.
Okay, sure.
Already, get my indefinite leave to remain. And it's past 1 year now. I wanted to apply for citizenship.
I understand, yeah.
So the first question is, I have to do life in the UK, which I already did. And the other one is I was speaking and talking. This I forget the name exactly.
The B1 test, yeah.
Yeah, the B1. But I have a diploma in higher education in the University of Manchester. So, am I to do that test, or the diploma in higher education represent that thing? I can submit that thing.
The problem with the diploma...
Not a degree, but it's a higher diploma.
The problem is they won't accept the diploma. From what I can recollect, it has to be a bachelor's degree, master's degree, or PhD. They won't accept a diploma. The other problem is even... I think it's too risky with that. They do require you to do the test, and the test is only £150, so it's very easy to do, obviously, for you. So, you know, your indefinite leave. On what basis did you get indefinite leave in the UK?
So, refugee.
Right. That's why you haven't done the English tests at the moment.
Yeah, it's refugee. Yeah. So the other question is for references.
Okay.
So yeah, I wanted to ask whether can I pay a solicitor to do me referencing on my wife? And the second reference, can it be like my employer? Can one of my managers be my reference? Because when I saw the form and I read the form, it says first reference is supposed to be a solicitor or an accountant, someone who has a professional body, something like that.
Yes.
So yeah, I was just asking whether can I go to a solicitor to pay for references for me and my wife.
Yeah, you can do. So a solicitor can do it. The only issue is it can't be the solicitor who's acting for you in the current application. So if you're not going through a firm of solicitors, you're doing it yourself, then it's not a problem. But if you have asked a solicitor to submit the application on your behalf, they can't be the referee. That's the only thing.
Okay.
But it could be a solicitor, it could be a doctor, your own doctor, it could be a teacher, it could be a pharmacist, it could be a director of a company which is VAT registered. So director of, it could be an engineer, accountant. But no, specifically solicitors can do it as long as they are not instructed by you for this particular application.
Okay. Yeah, the final question is, my wife been here, but she don't know anyone, she never works, so she's dependent on me.
Understand.
Now, let's say, if I happen to pay the solicitor for the first reference, now for the second reference, I had a problem there for her, because she never worked, she don't know anyone, what am I going to do for the second reference? Is it the same solicitor can do the second reference for
the solicitor? Solicitor might be prepared to do it if because through you he's aware of your wife. So your solicitor might be prepared to do it. The alternative would be a doctor. Has your wife been registered with a doctor for a while?
Yes, a GP.
So because GPs are normally okay doing it because the GP has your wife's record, so they know your wife's been coming to the surgery, she's registered for the last 3-4 years. So GPs are more likely to do it. Nowadays, the problem is sometimes when you go to the surgery, you won't see the same GP. You might see different GPs. So they might not know you that well. That's the problem. But if the solicitor can't do it, then the GP would be the next best person. Sometimes the alternative is if you've got children at school, then the teachers might know you because you're picking and dropping the children off. So the teachers might know of you. So sometimes that's the way you get around it if you haven't worked. GP, teachers, or a solicitor who might have dealt with the case a while ago, who obviously remembers you and your wife, the solicitor might be able to do it.
Okay, because what I was worried, because I wanted to come with the kids, because I got kids here, about 4 of them.
Right.
They're all going to school. Yeah, 3 of them are going to school. The other one is the youngest, which is a year old. Yeah, but the thing is for him to, if the solicitor signs for every one of us for the first reference,
it's not a problem.
For him to, I'm worried.
No, it's fine. You can do it all. It's not a problem at all. It's not unusual to know the whole family. It's not unusual at all.
Okay.
Brother, I wouldn't worry about that. The solicitor, I've had people come to me for the whole family. I've known of them. I've not had a problem doing it for the whole family at all, brother.
Okay.
All right, brother.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Jazakallah, brother. Thank you very much for your call. Indeed. Sometimes the issue about references with nationality applications does cause particular problems, but kind of people to approach would be solicitors, teachers, GPs. Hope that answers the question. We're taking a short break. Inshallah, we'll be back in the next couple of minutes. See you then. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the Free Legal Advice Show on British Muslim TV. I'm your host Ilyas Bulbulia. To speak to me live on air, please ring on the landline number which appears at the bottom of the screen. Alternatively, as always, you can continue to send your messages in on that mobile number which is also there at the bottom of the screen. I get the messages here live on air and I can then address your questions live on air. Okay, I think we have a caller waiting. Let's see whether our caller is still there or not. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. Brother, I just spoken to you a few minutes ago,
Sure.
And the method you told me regarding login for Supra,
Yes.
it did work.
Oh, it did work. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it did work. Thank you so much.
Pure guesswork on my behalf. No legal knowledge there.
Yeah, that's wonderful. There's a problem because when I applied, I sent them my valid biometric card, but I was on a universal credit, but they're asking me now to book for one person. It's £125.
There'll be free appointment.
We are 4 people.
But there'll be free
Yeah,
appointments.
for the appointment.
But there are free appointments available as well.
I couldn't see any.
No. So what you do is you go on, and then it will give you an option, a number of places it will tell you where you can book. So if you look at the first place, and what you do is you carry on going forward on the dates. And if you look at a date approximately 3 to 4 weeks from now, that should show free appointments. So the way the system works at the moment is if you book an appointment within the next 2 to 3 weeks, they will normally be paid appointments, £125 per person. If you wait 4 weeks, 5 weeks, that's when the free appointments are available. So on the first option that comes up, look at that. Now, if you carry on going forward on the calendar, no free appointments are available, then leave that location, look at the next location down.
Okay.
So you don't have to book at your nearest location. So look at the next location down. And again, go forward about 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks from now, or 4 to 5 weeks from now, and there should be some free appointments. Now, if you've done that and still you haven't managed to find appointments, then don't book straight away.
Right.
Log in a day later, log in 2 days later. Free appointments do become available. 100% they do. Whereabouts do you live? Which town do you live in?
I live in Reading, Berkshire.
Okay. I think the only problem with Reading is you're going to have limited options coming up. So your options might be Birmingham. I don't know what options are coming up, but what you should do is look at a couple of locations and look around the 4 week mark from now. There should be free appointments.
Okay.
There should be. And if there aren't, don't book anything, just wait. Because, a family of 4 or 5, you're looking at £500-600, complete waste of money. Just wait for the free appointments to come.
Yeah, it is indeed, yeah.
But free appointments should come up.
When it says like without charges, does it tell you like no charge?
Yeah, so it's a free appointment. It'll tell you when you click, when you get to that date, it will tell you on that date which are paid appointments and which are free appointments. It will say free on it. But
okay.
So on the calendar, you would have to go towards the end. Sometimes the easiest thing is to log in from a normal computer. Sometimes if you're trying to do it on the phone, you might not be able to see it. So have you tried to book it on the phone?
No, I'm on the laptop.
On the
On
laptop,
the computer.
Okay. Have you managed to go 3 to 4 weeks ahead on that?
Actually, they are actually showing even end of the March, or while I'm talking to you, I have spoken, like I've seen, nearly 3 to 4 center, and still just go up to 28th of March.
28th of March.
Don't go further.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Don't book anything at the moment then, okay?
Right.
Log in tomorrow, log in at the end of the week. The free appointments will come up. And
right, okay.
See, I know more about, we have a lot of clients up in Yorkshire, so when we normally look at Leeds, and we book in Leeds quite regularly, which is our closest Sopra Steria centre, and definitely 3 to 4 weeks later, the free appointments do become available. So you might need to look outside your immediate location. So the way to do that is when you go onto the page from where you book appointments, they ask you for a postcode, then try another postcode.
Right, okay.
So instead of putting your Reading postcode in, put a Leeds login in or Yorkshire login in. Just find a postcode from the website, and if you put that in, what it then does is it brings up the closest Sopra Steria centres to that postcode that you've put in.
Oh, I understand. I understand.
So that's another way of doing it. And if that still doesn't work, then just wait a couple of days. In fact, try tomorrow. So free appointments will come up. There's no other way. You can't get the Home Office to pay or to give you free appointments. The way to do it is to actually find the free appointment on the Sopra Steria website.
Okay, I understand. Okay. So in that case, because we are 4, I have to log in for every person with a different login detail, or would be just for one person for all?
To me, I think you're going to have different logins for each application, I think. Because you know what normally happens? You know when you apply on an online form, and on an online form, if you can have dependents on one form, then what it does, it books the appointments together. Now,
together, all right. Okay.
It'll, when you book it, it'll tell you. But I think, on the paper form, have you got 4 different reference numbers?
Yes, they send it 4 different reference numbers. Yeah, it's true.
I think you're going to have to book 4 different ones. But when you book the first one, so use the lead applicant, so use yours. When you book it, you'll be able to tell whether it's booked 1 or it's booked 4. I think it's just going to book 1. So then what you do is you book the next one. And then...
right, okay.
Sometimes the problem might be you might have to book 2, 3, and then the next 3 slots might be available the next day. So you might have to do the 2, 3 the next day or later on that day if enough slots aren't available together.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
You just need to play around with that. So 2, you go to the end, you change the postcode on it, or you try the next day to try and get the free appointment.
Right. All right, okay. I will try this way.
All right, okay. No problem at all. Okay, thank you very much for your call.
Thank you very much, sir. It's very kind of you.
No problem at all. Okay, Jazakallah. Thank you for your call. Thank you. We've got another caller who's been waiting for a while. Let's go to our next call. Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Ji, walaikum salam. Ji, thank you for calling. What's your question?
Yeah. I just have my son in Africa who I want to bring.
Okay.
So, and my earning is not up to 18,000.
Okay.
I'm on universal credit, so I just want to inquire about it.
Okay. So, your status at the moment in the UK, Do you have permanent stay in the UK? What do you have in the UK at the moment?
I have British passport.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so you've got British passport. And then your son who's abroad, how old is your son?
He's 14.
14, okay. And the biological father of your son, where is he?
He's with the biological father, but the biological father passed away last year.
I understand. Okay. And you know, when you got indefinite leave in the UK, how did you get indefinite leave in the UK? What basis? What basis did you get the indefinite leave on?
I get indefinite through my ex-partner.
All right. Okay. So when did you get indefinite leave? How long ago was it?
It was 2012. Sorry, yeah, 2012.
Okay. So you know, when you got indefinite leave, the 18,600 rule, none of that applied now. See, I don't think, and I'm slightly technical question. I'm not sure whether the 18,600 rule applies in this case. It may not apply. But what you might have to show is that you have enough income to support him.
Okay.
The problem is, you would still, even if the 18,600 rule doesn't apply, you still have to have enough income coming in. So as a minimum, you'd need like a part-time job.
Yeah.
Are you working part-time at all or not?
Yeah, I'm working full-time.
You're working full-time. Okay. All right. Okay. I think because you got your indefinite leave, not under the new rules, under the old rules, I think there may well be a way around it. It may well be the case that you don't need to show 18,600 at all. You just need to show that you have enough income for yourselves here and your son who is abroad. So just because you're not earning 18,600, I think that is probably not fatal to your application. What I would suggest is that you do speak to an immigration lawyer and raise this point, that whether this 18,600 rule applies to you or not. From my recollection, it doesn't apply to you because you're under the old regime anyway. You just need to have enough income. So that needs an assessment of your expenses in the UK, accommodation expenses, who's in your family at the moment. And then we need to look at how much money is coming in to see whether it's enough or not. But it may well be possible, even without 18,600, for you to sponsor your son to come to the UK. I would suggest you speak to a local immigration lawyer and raise this point about 18,600. I don't think it applies to you.
Where can I find local immigration lawyer?
Whereabouts do you live?
I live in Wakefield.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, if you leave your number with the control room, and then I will try and arrange somebody suitable for you. If you leave your number with the control room.
Oh, I will be so appreciated.
Thank you very much for your call.
Thank you, mashallah.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. That unfortunately takes us to the next break. We'll be back in the next couple of minutes, inshallah. See you then. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the Free Legal Advice Show on British Muslim TV. I'm your host, Ilyas Bulbulia. To speak to me live on air, please ring on the landline number which appears at the bottom of the screen. And as always, if you want to send us messages with your questions, please do so on the mobile number which is also there at the bottom of the screen. Just before the break, we had a caller who made inquiries in relation to applying for indefinite leave to remain where they have refugee status in the United Kingdom. And I did say that I'll have a quick look at the guidance to see whether there is a specific absence limit that applies to indefinite leave to remain applications where somebody has refugee status in the United Kingdom. I've had a quick look during the break, and for the benefit of the caller who called in, for the brother who called in, the guidance suggests that you need to have completed 5 years in the UK. We know it's a requirement to complete 5 years in the UK. In terms of absences, there doesn't appear to be anything specific. It does say you should have spent a continuous period of 5 years in the United Kingdom. with refugee status. So there doesn't seem to be a specific absence limit. So my personal view based on that would be absences of 3 to 4 months a year would not be a problem. The difficulty is if you have significant absences from the United Kingdom, there could be a problem at the indefinite leave to remain stage where the Home Office could say that you haven't spent a continuous period of 5 years in the United Kingdom with refugee status. So personally, my view is that absences of 3 to 4 months would be okay, but there doesn't seem to be anything specific on the guidance on those who have refugee status applying for indefinite leave to remain. Hope that answers your question. Right, we've had a number of questions coming in on WhatsApp. Let's have a look at the next few questions which have come in. So got a message from Sister Anisa who says, Assalamu alaikum, I have leave to remain. I am on the 10-year route family visa. My 2 daughters have British citizenship. They were born here. They are 15 and 13 years old. I got my visa in 2017. Is there a way of changing the 10-year route to the 5-year route in view of the fact that my children are now British citizens? So our sister who's sent the message in is on the 10-year route to settlement, has 2 children who are now British. One is 15 and one is 13. Sister who's texted in got the initial visa on the 10-year route in 2017. So ordinarily, under the 10-year route, our sister would qualify for indefinite leave in 2027, so 5 years from now. The specific question is, can she change from her 10-year route into a 5-year route? Now, there are limited circumstances in which you can actually swap into the 5-year route, but in this particular situation, there's no point doing that. And the reason I say that is this, that if you were able to switch into the 5-year route, your 5-year route would start from 0 now. So your 5 years would start from when the visa is granted under the 5-year route, and then you complete 5 years under the 5-year route. So they don't take, the Home Office doesn't take into account the time that you've spent under the 10-year route from 2017 to now. So you've already done 5 years from 2017 to 2022. That's not counted. If you were able to go into the 5-year route, you'd start from 0 and you'd have to build up your 5 years. And that would take you to 2027 anyway. So there is no real advantage, even if you were able to go back into the 5-year route or go into the 5-year route, there's no advantage for you because you would complete your 5 years in 2027 anyway. Now, under this 10-year route, which started in 2017, you're going to complete the 10 years in 2027 anyway. So it's too late to switch into the 5-year route. Now, so in your case, there's no point. There are some cases where it is possible to switch into the 5-year route. So if I give you an example, if your husband has indefinite leave to remain, or if you're single looking after the children, there are situations like that where even though you've been granted a visa under the 10-year route, as soon as that visa is granted, you can go in to the 5-year route, because when you make the 5-year route application, you're legal, you're not an overstayer, you can go into the 5-year route. You would then complete 5 years under the 5-year route. But in your particular case, at this stage, there's no point doing it because you've already done 5 years under the 10-year route. You might as well carry on. You're going to get indefinite leave in 2027 anyway. So in a nutshell, in your case, there's no point doing it, unfortunately. There are limited cases where it is worth doing it. And by going into the 5-year route, you do get your indefinite leave a little earlier. But that's only worth doing if you do it right at the outset, not 4 or 5 years down the line under the 10-year route. But thank you very much for that question. I hope that answers your question. If it's not clear, please do come back to me and I will try and clarify matters for you. Let's look at the next question that's come in from Sister Nora. Our sister says, I am an asylum seeker waiting for a decision in relation to my asylum application. My children were born here. They are not included in my passport and they do not have their own passports. Can my children apply for their own passports, or would it affect their asylum application? Now, can the children apply for own passports? In view of the fact that you've got an asylum application pending at the moment, you can make an application for a passport, but I don't think there's any point doing that for your children at this stage. The reason I say that is this: if your asylum application is successful, then you would be given refugee status, children would be given status as well, and potentially you can apply for a travel document at that stage. Now, if you're going to apply for a passport for your children, you can do that. It won't adversely affect your asylum application, but I'm not sure whether there's any point doing that at this stage, because in terms of the asylum application, you're the applicant, so it's your circumstances that they look at. Children are merely dependent, so it's not going to be a problem with your children having a passport of their home country. It's your situation, your fear of returning to your home country, which is the issue here. So I would recommend that you make the application now. You have an asylum application pending. If it's successful, you're going to be eligible for a travel document anyway. So I wouldn't do it for yourself. For your children, you can do it. But again, I can't see any point doing that now. I can't see what the rush is to do that. Let's just see how your asylum application pans out, and hopefully that will be granted and that will sort the problem out as well. So I hope that answers that question. We've had a number of questions coming in. I'm trying to rush through the questions and get them all wrapped up before we finish for the day. Next question that's come in is in relation to a European application. Question is as follows. Salams, I've got two questions. I made an application for my wife, an entry clearance application 6 months ago, but I don't seem to have received a reply from the Home Office. I have chased them by calling them and also emailing them for an update, and they have said that the application is under consideration and is being worked on. I'm a single dad with a British child and I've only limited leave to remain in the United Kingdom. What is the reason why the Home Office is taking so long to make a decision? Now, the problem with the particular circumstances that you've described there is that your application is clearly complex. Now, your circumstances, as you've described it, is that you're a single dad. You have limited leave to remain in the United Kingdom, so you don't have indefinite leave to remain in the United Kingdom. And you've applied for your wife to come to the United Kingdom, even though you don't have settled status. So that's a slightly unusual case. Now, because of the fact that your case is slightly unusual, also it's quite complex, naturally it's going to take longer for your application to be decided. In answer to a similar question before, I said that the typical time frame for making decisions at the moment on spouse applications appears to be around 3 to 4 months. In complex cases, it's not unusual for the 3 to 4 month mark to be exceeded, for cases not to be decided within the 3 to 4 month time frame. Complex cases could take 6, 7, 8 months to be decided. The problem is that there isn't that much you can do to try and get the Home Office to make a quicker decision. It is an unusual case. I think you accept that. You've called the Home Office for an update. You've also sent emails to them. That hasn't worked. The only other thing I would recommend at this stage is that you contact your local MP to see whether your MP can make contact with the Home Office, explain your particular circumstances and the need for a quick decision on this. That may prompt the Home Office to come up with a quicker decision. If that doesn't work, there is a final option, which is if you speak to your solicitor, assuming you've instructed a solicitor in relation to this application, let's say 7, 8, 9 months pass and you still haven't had a decision, you can look at the possibility of serving a pre-action protocol letter on the Home Office, effectively saying to the Home Office, we will judicially review your failure to make a decision. The reality is, as far as processing of these applications is concerned, 7 to 8 months for unusual cases is not particularly long. So at this stage, what I would recommend is that you speak to your local MP and ask your local MP to contact the Home Office to see whether they can get the Home Office to make a quicker decision. Now, we get loads of questions on delays. My personal experience is cases are getting decided much more quicker, but there is still a significant backlog with the Home Office. So you just have to be patient, unfortunately. That brings us to the end of the show. Inshallah, we'll be back next week. Until then, Assalamu alaikum.